the mid-game, where you're balancing positioning while maintaining what you built during the early game. And finally, the end game, where you spend all the advantages you set yourself up with to earn the victory royale. Use this to form your game plan in order to earn as many series points weekend after weekend. And maybe next time, we'll be watching and highlighting your top plays. This was Ball TW, and I'll see you in-game.
Hey guys, Shy Wager here, bringing you a breakdown of one of the most dynamic, flexible, and clutch items every trio is utilizing in the Fortnite Champions. The Shockwave Tools. We're going to be taking a look at some of the basics on how it's used in this crucial moments in the game, how to adapt to play against them towards the end. To get started, let's get a refresher on what shockwaves are and some of the basics of using. Shockwave grenades are a utility item that drop a stacks of 2, with a maximum stack size of 6. Thrown, the shockwave launches anyone within its tile-and-a-half radius far distances, destroying drones in the process. Added prevention and fall damage. The most effective way to gain maximum distance is to time your jump well below the shockwave volume, angling yourself above it for higher vertical movement, or towards the side of it in midair for horizontal coverage. If you do use a shockwave to rotate through builds late game, you will only be able to go through about 5 rounds with the metal before you come to a stop. When going for height, don't get stopped by any opposing player's builds at all. You can reach upwards of 7.5 miles in height, giving anyone above you a surprise, engaging both yours and your enemy's game plan in a split second. Although really easy to understand and use individually, once entering the atmosphere of trios and teamwork, the use of shockwaves enters a whole new dimension. They are deciding factors in win conditions if used properly, allowing for easy positioning and rotations. Using them and sticking together after the landing is efficient and gets your whole trio online, ready to fire at a faster rate compared to the rest of the competition. Saving these grenades for later use gives the element of surprise as well, and a level of shock to the whole service. Looking at 8 and 9 zones with densely packed endgame, vertical shockwaves with high ground and mid-ground layers of crumble. And give patient trios and surviving solos a way to counter long tarps and bases towering above them. Facing off against 3 players usually proves fatal though, as you are vulnerable throughout your whole flight, easily targeted by the trios that find you. Trolling on the walls on the way up from your shockwave, game slow, gives your mid-ground height or foundation to easily shot out and focus from below. Panicking with shockwaves in your own box and using them is always a irreversible giving you your position split away from your trio, costing you building resources, or ultimately you and your teammates their entire health and shield pool if used at the absolute incorrect moment. To counteract the chaos from shockwaves, you will include strategies to mitigate the negative and potential mishaps in certain situations. When going for height, separately boxing up before using the shockwaves, going for height then allows you to have power in numbers as 3 players get a vertical rotation together, overwhelming the competition. Discovering new positioning and shockwave throwing angles and targets within your box might keep your trio and teammates closer together when using one shockwave to rotate, saving crucial mats and attracting less attention during your mid-game rotation. You also save your total shockwave count by doing this, allowing for more opportunities to challenge high ground, increase program in the endgame, or rotate later. Such as keeping a teammate higher than normal while the player above you, as in the event of a vertical shockwave, you still have someone alive, bring down, or retake. Keeping your own shockwaves handy is a way to counter anyone who drives off of you as well. But if most trios play mind games and the circle gets smaller, and smaller, the more likely a chance there is for a messy, repeat shockwave circus happening all at the same time. Player after player gets sent flying in the sky, with teammates all getting sent around in and out of the storm, off their tarp layers, and splits costing your trio more mats and resources than normal. Identifying these mistakes, staying in your lane, and watching teams move is a good way to anticipate and prevent disaster from striking before it happens. Although an item overlooked as simple mobility at first, the potential and efficiency of using shockwave grenades as a trio separates the good players from the great. Practicing, reviewing, and watching how plays are set up before they happen is a good way to keep in the loop, improve on mistakes, and get better retakes on height when using one of the most versatile items in the game. Keep the team's position in mind while braking, jumping, and blasting into the air until you get it just right. And who knows, maybe you can have that top play or amazing clutch that saves your team while competing in the FNCS.
which is Flushing. But there's been a ton of Fortnite action going on this morning anyway, with Middle East wrapping up their first and second heat, so we have the final results. And we're going to hop into some of the action. Pretty good. I know the on the FN competitive Twitter and also on the YouTube, some of the predictions in our preview piece we were able to go through, and we talked about what some of the predictions, particularly in the Middle East and the European region, are. So make sure you get up to date on that, get what our thoughts and opinions are. But we're going to be hopping into Heat 2, Match 1 of the Middle East region in just a second here. And honestly, I'm excited. It's going to be the first time seeing Middle East in outside of the open tournament format and seeing the top teams really go at it. And honestly, looking at the heats afterward, there are a lot of big changes now up on the board here. You can see there were some differences in the predictions. One, I will say, I was the one who predicted Flame, Prime, and Hunter up there, so swap Zeke and I's names, but otherwise, Klops, Hero Kappa, and Fiesel were the favorites going through. They performed pretty well. You will be seeing them in the Middle East Grand Final tomorrow. However, Flame, Prime, and Hunter were also able to have a positive day in their heat and advance through. So predictions so far are holding steady, and it's going to be exciting once we get in. There is a different style of play, different types of gameplay from all over the region, but enough from me. I've talked enough. Let's throw it on over to Lupo and Monster as they take you to the Middle East in Match 1.
Sundown, thank you very much. Just quick note to those at home. Occasionally we run into issues on the cast. Do your best to not get too worked up about it. You know, there's a lot of things at play here, so you have to imagine a 10-minute break is an insanely short amount of time to recover and get back into the games. As you can see here on your screen, Heat 2 Game 1 of the Middle East region just starting off. Tilted town, a number of teams dropping down the bottom. Down here, pressure in the bottom and the pump shotgun. Early blue pump shotgun in tilted down. As you can see, is honestly one of the most powerful weapons you can get. It's so hard for
such a clean shot, and that's one of the perks of landing in Tilted Town. You know you're going to get a blue. You know you're leaving with blue pump. You're leaving with shockwaves. You're guaranteed hits, like guaranteed minimum. Not only that, it's not going to give yourself the especially if you want to guarantee your loadout. And you stick around just to get back to the lobby. Not much you can do there. You catch one pick, maybe you get a point for your leaderboard, basically, but. It's bad with the looks.
You have to hope it's like a solo, otherwise, they're just going to get picked back up almost immediately. It's a tough spot to be in. But yeah, you're saying early game in Tilted has such a refined loot pool. The trade-off of not being able to build, or in some people's mindsets, not having to build, because you know that you can just focus on gun skill and accuracy, is such a big factor in building up in it's huge here. Like I said, everybody's going to come out stacked with a good set of materials, in fact, just because you can pick up all that stuff out of the chest and off of every elimination. It's arguably one of the better spots to drop right now.
Yeah, I was just going to say, imagine a game where one of you get that double barrel out of Tilted Town, because on spoiled the play where the double barrel shotgun only spawns in Tilted, but you can out of the place as well.
Third time's a charm. There we go.
I was going to say, he's having a little bit of a struggle there, trying to get up and over.
You got to track down that space bar. It runs away sometimes. Unless they're playing on controller, I guess. My apologies. Controller gang, love you.
If anything, Controller Gang has the best. shielded up for the most part.
Now we get the old high ground right now. Gonna have to fight out one player all the way at the top. Shots coming from the third party right there. Looks like me trying to knock down that build as they're pushing up side. Holding high ground, looking down from above. A little explode from underneath. Gonna have to build against that. Waiting for the peak shot. Timing that very last second before getting to the pyramid. Gets a ton of big shots. Look at the last one. There it is. Finds the knock on Izzy. They have the advantage at this point. Picks up that elimination up to 125 total HP. Bell gets knocked. Wild Gamer picking up that elimination. And an RPG in there is going to be huge. Attack shotgun shots back to back. Finds the third one. And that is a solid 3 eliminations for Psy. Wild Gamer making it up for the loss of Silence down there in the bottom left corner.
Fighting on the heels right there, and they turn that battle around. Very well done. Not Psy. I've actually had the pleasure with, pretty sure, talking as I, browsed around the Middle East. So good to see him pulling up and performing here. They now are pretty much clear, and they have this in the clear. They have to get the revive off, so Silence is going to be able to come back in the game as he gets hit up on the reboot man.
Huge value. Makes tornadoes to Lucky landing. Like it is calm at this point. A lot of builds, but no competition left down here. This trio is going to be able to pick back up, eventually finish looting up down here, farm any materials they can get out of it. They're in the safe zone. The circle still has 38 seconds before it closes. They're not. Right now, we'll have to see what the next circle does. It's a good opportunity to build up any leftover loot that might be down here. Way on to the next safe zone without much issue. Wow, Super, Sammy, and Dream pushing from outside of the storm. The far east drop here in the desert.
Palms where you can't just crouch freely, you have to be very cautious. A lot of the competitive players opting to unbind the crouch. Yeah.
N'hésitez pas à liker. Je déteste cette pioche. Moi, Chétan, enfin, je t'attendais. Alors, je vais essayer de mettre mon... Non. Je vais ouais, je vais faire tout de suite même. Alors, ce sera beaucoup mieux pour vous. Aïe, ça bug.
If you think about it, they did force that team, the team that applied pressure from inside the safe zone, to burn through some traps. Some zap traps, so you've gotten rid of those, cleared those out of the inventory, which is great for later in the game. Ultimately, kind of a win-win. Set eliminations here.
Map forced to fight their way down now. Quite a rotation here as the zone seems to be pushing all to the south. So the later you move, the more congested this rotation will be, the harder it will be later in the game. You really want to get down here early, especially when a zone favors one side pretty heavily. Other players try to rotate nice and early.
I'm looking for Nazir to hit a snipe shot here. Hasn't gone for it yet. I would say position-wise, not the best call. Attention to yourself as you are further outside the edge of what is currently safe. So you people are probably going to look back and stormhold you. But could you imagine, as you're hitting just crazy snipe right there on the rotation in, they suddenly have an advantage, a trio versus only 2 left up. They could push through to get materials and make their way in the safe zone.
C'est parce que je l'aime pas. Ça fait 2 fois. Ah, vous voyez, j'ai fait première game. Je suis rentré chez moi, top 1. Avec 2 kills. J'ai pas joué tryhard, j'avais trop froid. J'avais froid, chaud, je savais pas ce que j'avais. Non, noir, c'est parfait, c'est parfait. Noir, du coup. Tac. On est parti. On est good. Ah ouais, mais c'est normal, je sais que je fais l'arène. Les mecs, ils sont hyper chauds et tout. Ah, je suis bientôt palier 100. J'arrive. Oh! Pas fait exprès et puis oh mec, c'est bon, j'ai trouvé mon ensemble tryhard. Alors attends, je regarde un peu les mineurs. J'ai eu la genre de Game Boy. Je savais pas qu'il y avait une Game Boy. Une Game Boy. Sinon tu vas comment Ethan? Plutôt comment tu vas? Demain mise à jour normalement, ou pas de mise à jour. La map va changer. Gotham City.
Places and wait just a minute, because what might happen, and you see on your minimap that almost is the call there, that trio, the one that they got the knock on, there's a team further outside. They're going to get pressure from the back. They have a chance to sandwich. That might be eliminations that they can pick up later, rather than applying pressure and maybe getting third party themselves.
I almost also want to say the same team got a sniper by HD, so he's a magnet for the heavy sniper. Gotta be careful, buddy.
Little rivalry.
Tuck the head down. Gotta duck. Careful on the peaks here, but and then second. He's just watching everywhere. Minute left. He catches a knock right in the tail. Aziz TV is gonna go down, and this time they are not safe. He says it's time to battle. They want to push this through with less than a minute on the rotation here. In comes the stinkers. The heavy snipe cracks open the wall, and there is a team nearby. They can hear the shots. They're looking over if you look at your map, but they're going for safety instead. It's a long rotation.
Around. You see that those 2 trios on the southeast side, they're rotating around trying to get in the safe zone. Meanwhile, these two teams each other time and time again now. Pressure and M7 get the high. Not gonna be able to do it just yet. Gonna wait just a moment. Doesn't want to get pushed too far in on that trio without his teammates at his back. One elimination currently. If the pressure is good and gets a better position, might be able to convert that into another 3. We'll see here in a second. Shots from inside the safe zone. They're just at the edge. And there are so many teams so close together. 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe 5 trios within probably 50 meters of each other right there.
And Aziz and his trio is actually really lucky. Aziz was traded out, but that duo, what was left of the trio, managed to sneak away here. Heavy sniper turns. He hits another one. FHP is on fire right now with the shot. So you can see here, this team is scary with a double heavy sniper. They're loaded up right now. Here comes the focus fire.
A trio focus fire is big, but FHD pays the price. Another team up time. 5 trios in one. Basically 150-meter circle. is so tough because as soon as you start spraying on one, everyone's going to look at you and say, you're exposed right now, and you're not looking at me. It might be the time to take a shot. Imagine if instead of AR spray, that was a heavy snipe. That could have been an immediate knock, and then suddenly the tables have turned on his team of Power.
Right. Okay, Power has plenty of heals to spare here. You saw he did manage to pop 2 big pots right there, so the squad kind of hooked him up. They still have 6 chug splashes. They have, you know, slurps for the road. They're very, very set up right there.
With how close together they are to other teams, I'm surprised they're not using use even just one of those just to top off one player and get your last one to only 5 HP missing, because if you're in a bad spot, you start getting beamed, you're going to want every single HP that you can get. Oh, double snipe, double heavy, here we go. Looking for it, finds the first one. Leaves and non-side goes down.
You take, especially in training, way too many eyes focusing on sit still and HD. Jans and NM7 doing a fantastic job right now, holding the server down. Really, they're dictating the pace right here with all pressure, all fire coming in. This is the most active trios we've seen so far in the server.
The east side of the map, they lost them thus far. There is that team. You saw them look up above on top of the hill, looking down. You got to be very careful on the angles. I will not be surprised if there's a chance the shots go down from the top. And I'm starting to get a shot. Team from MES over there. Looking back, one tap just past them. You look very top middle of your screen. That's the team I was talking about. They're all the way up. They have height advantage, a little window peak on the break wall that's headed right there, just out of screen now. You also down in Happy Hamlet have Vincent and Kinji. Building the high ground down here. Number of teams underneath.
It's actually a fantastic loadout as well. 6 shockwaves, 2 shield bubbles. They're set up so pretty up here. Nice little headshot right there from Kinji. He's gonna put some hurting on that team right there. They do have a heavy snipe to crack open the build as well. Stink, someone tries to take that high ground. He's going to eat a couple of bullets for the sandwich right there as Sultan goes down by Kinji. Nice reaction speed right there. That shockwave play was not the one to do.
A valiant effort, but did land right in the middle of the trio, all into the teeth. That shield bubble out. Looking to potentially make a rotation soon. We'll have to see here. I almost want to see one of these players toss it straight up, knock it down onto their own head, and make a move with it at the same time.
So he puts the bubble down so that their pad doesn't get taken out. So he says, there, and just like that, they are able to skate away and get to the next safe zone here. Nice perfect but not a single one of them on that rotation right there. So that was a very clean pad away.
Super Power still solid right there. Toggle, Eska.
Another player putting that right there. Toggle's tucking in all of the grenades right here. Flexi goes down. Iki gets taken out right there. And he catches another knock. That's a triple knock with the grenades right here.
But grenades are pretty good. Especially when you have so many players stacked together. You have your teammates spray down the walls where you're tossing those things.
And just look at the map. They're all in the same spot, so naturally you're going to hit someone.
We're about to get into placement points here. Just before we cut, we have 16 trios remaining. As soon as we get to top 15, everybody picks up a set of points, 34 players total, which means a lot of these trios are no longer trios. You have quite a few single or duo players left at this point as the feed's still lighting up. Players are now forced to the northwest side.
Oh, I see that. Shockwave. Kind of play here, angling the structures.
Craftsmanship is key.
It's important to set it up properly so that everyone can get on out, but it looks like there's no time left. They're just going to have to go ahead and throw it down. Very scuffed shockwave here. But Siggle's not bad. Yeah.
Siggle with a big move there, landed literally in a set of builds already. And it's set up. He now has a bubble shield to protect. He can look back and try and help his teammates if he needs to. Up to his duo.
Eska does get taken out there, so Toggle is going to get in a little bit of a 1v1 right here. Someone with a box guard is trying to look for that replace wall. You have to wait for it. Nice shot. He's going to keep it big. Up to the face right there. He's going to put him right down. It was there's nothing he can do. You kind of ask for it.
Yeah, just waiting for the edit. You know it's going to happen. Just wait for the edit. It's boxed in. Going to have to try and get ahead of this storm. Down to 13-18. Traps down. He does have the splashes, but it is not enough. That trio goes down. Looks like in 13th place. 12 trios remaining as the rest of the field shockwaves, tarps, push pads towards the next safe zone.
Now we're looking at the end game. Zone 7 here. You have already situated up on the ground. Shockwaves are already flying all around you here. Power, NM7, we're jumping back in. We saw land some ridiculous snipes earlier today. He's going to sneak up. They have a nice little pinch right there. Great white shot right there. There's actually 2 that fall down to them. They're still cool.
Yes!
Quick little splash. Put another 20 across the board. All 3 teammates sharing that heal. Excellent call. These rotations in. Trying to get these quick edits and try and tarp while your teammates are still with you. And healing, that's big. Yeah, no mask. It's empty now. They're going to have to trade off who's doing what on the team. Still making moves, though. Bubble shield there. Plus the zone is right at the back. Player dropping in, same floor behind, rotating out in the storm, trying to stay safe, but can't quite find it. Back into the safe zone here as NM7's looking back. This is a great opportunity. If he had held that for maybe 2 or 3 more seconds, he might have had another shot on the player that did get the knockdown underneath. The movement into the safe zone is key here, but he's only sitting on 3 builds. He's got 3 metal builds remaining. 9 points, and there's 6 trios left. Trap behind, just in case somebody tries to drop down in, but does get broken. Player underneath. It is basically chaos at this point.
And then Zaire is the absolute slayer so far. Oh, but he is going to get chipped down right there. As Minzu takes him out. We've been following Minzu, Janssen, FHD for all these players for so long now. This is looking like the toe-to-toe right here. Minzu on YouTube. Boxfighter, Moon, and Kinji all have the high ground right here. They have sneakers, they have explodes. They're set up for success right now. Here comes a quick edit. Minzu's trying to get this peek right here. Is he going to be able to connect? No, the shockwave pushes him out. In comes the firing. He doesn't have time to push all the way through. It's going down. Somehow, they close out by staying alive just long enough. The shots, the trades, FHD and Yonks were holding it down, actually trading the shots. The shockwave was perfect.
Minzu's trio went from the only full team left. Both players not in the storm because the shockwave was so fast. I think nobody on that team saw that. Absolutely ridiculous. Last couple seconds there. Now, just to take a look back, really give us some details. We got Shy Wager out in the studio. What do you got, Shy?
Yeah, these guys had the power, they brought the force and cleaned out the game even at the worst circumstance possible. Even throughout the game, we saw double heavy snipes. We saw so many cool utilizing mechanics being used across internationally, which is huge because, you know, Lupo and Monster had a conversation. Are you guys caught up? Do they have enough time? Is everything, you know, in place for this region to be at the top spot next to EU and A, right? We have this breakdown of a little bit of separation in the middle. We have NA West, EU, Brazil, as well as NA East, and they're all in that big top 8 region. But we have these top 4s. The first Tanks team and FE on the board in this game actually broadcasted as well. We can see people now becoming stars, right? We could have the next insane, calmer, clutch individual Mongol, but, you know, international, across the season, a different time zone, playing his own type of metagame, his own type of strats being dropped down from height, going upwards, downwards, everywhere around the entire server. So it's really cool seeing how a new region develops and exactly where they actually place themselves in the timeline of exactly how their skills are, how their build fighting metagame is, what they try to do on height afterwards. A pattern you see we saw in the first EU games where, hey, if MMB have height, everyone below them, no shields at all. Every tag, it's a headshot from the Scar. It's an easy 72 white damage tag that usually gets them that elim at the end. Middle East, same way. We're going to break it down in just a second, but there's an entire type of shifted metagame where it's kind of those early Season 3, Season 4 tendencies combined with the knowledge you have at the end types of, you know, Season 8, Season 9 end games. Where, you know, you're rotating, you're tarping, you're saving your items. At the same time, early game, you're using it immediately. No thought whatsoever. You have everything on your board, you have your inventory, you know exactly what your units have, your comms are nice, everything's on the plate, ready to go, ready to get feasted on. So Middle East right now for me is just, is really nice. We're going to be going into a clip actually of an early game, I believe, Happy Hamlet game. We're going to dive in with Kinzel, I believe. We'll see how he plays out. Actually, no, this is a power clip. There we go. Kinji up in Happy Hamlet. It's going to be really dope to see him actually cut out Forest Team on height. We talk about the metagame, right? When Shockwaves first got introduced, it was a straight pump or combat shot upwards. It took people time to get used to that AR spray. He has it in his inventory already. These guys are caught up, they know. Ramp edits, practicing creative, right? Very ingenuitive. A lot of ingenuity there, as well as wall replacing for protection. It's not raw gameplay, it's actually curated, practice, and they're brand new to the actual international team. Which is amazing, you know, baiting your teammates out for HP, going for finishes. Know exactly what to do. Now, the star trio that won that previous game, Power FHD, knowing how to use and take angles properly. Has traps in front of him, doesn't matter. Stays for those right-hand peaks, knows when to engage, low HP, still does not matter. Because these guys have practiced. This is not their first rundown, but it is their first showdown of exactly what they can do, right? No Max here, has the elims, low health, still knows exactly when to look up, what to loot, when to use your utility, and when to support your teammate and still have a presence in the game, which is once again something players learned a lot later. So these guys are caught up with the metagame. They do not finish off. They know their exact win conditions as well and when to drop them through. Amazing gameplay. We're going to now tune in and see what else they can do on the Middle East. I'm going to be picking it up with my man Zeke coming in. We're both going to hit that cast. We're going to see exactly how these guys go down. We'll relive that breakdown actually together live. Zeke, what did you think about their presence compared to the rest of the international regions?
Man, I think we saw quite a bit. I think you did an amazing breakdown there. I think the ceiling for me is still very high. We haven't quite seen what they're fully capable of, but I think over the weekend, we'll definitely see it. I'm also excited that we get to finally hang out, Shy Wager and Zeke. Sheik, we have come together. That was great, actually. That is a true thing of the game. But anyway, the games are ready. Let's hop right in, Fortnite fan. We're jumping out the battle bus. We're going to begin this game. I can't wait to see what happens here in this game. Because remember, these happened over this morning. Earlier on, while everyone wants to sleep, including myself, I slept like a baby. It's kind of. Not entirely true, but anyway, we're getting into it. We can see now where people are trying to land early. So, I mean, you know, you've got the Pleasant there. You've got a team of Junk. The old Villain Factory, you've got some at Snobby, some flying even over Greasy. They're still quite a bit, though, still that are airborne.
Yeah, see, one thing you mentioned earlier, Zeke, was the whole idea of these games happened this morning.
Quoi? J'étais pas dessus.
Still get to eat later in the day. There's so much flavor in these games we have yet to see. No, seriously, man. Like, once again, we're doing with power. Hey, look at this pattern, right?
Mais gros, je suis dessus. Mec, je vais rager comme ça.
These guys are in retail. Mongols in retail. You know, we had Mongols in retail. These guys have been waiting for a long time, right? There's so many VODs they've been watching. They have the knowledge, man. They have the power.
Yeah, and now look, they land over here on the, what do we like to call this? The top side's blacktops. Residential.
Yeah,
there we go. I literally came up with it as you were saying. What's wrong with me today? But they are on the residential side, which is good. I personally, and this just might be like my thinking, but I feel like it's better on the residential side than blacktop. Do you agree? Or do you think it's the other way around?
I think that there's more, there's sparser loot on the blacktop side. We're looking at Tilted right now, but I'm going to keep talking about what we saw in retail. There's sparser loot on the blacktop side, but like residential, I think more drop spots on the floor loot. But you know, we got those bendings on blacktops, and you have more of a horizontal than what you see. So it's a lot easier to kind of, you know, pick a game plan on blacktops. Residential, you kind of have to all in all the time.
Yeah.
Because if you do get engaged on, like once again, you're all in, right? You see it in OCE, X2 Twins, they always end up having a fight, some type of highlight. It's really cool. Right now, though, you know, Buflo and Monster went over Tilted Town, the advantages, disadvantages of building and not building. How do you think player opinion has been of Tilted Town from the beginning to the end of how people treat the game?
I think originally people were maybe a little taken off guard by the fact that you could not build until the time. It's like, wait, but the whole thing that you have to build and whatnot. It's like, well, yeah, that's still a very big aspect of the game. But now there is a POI dedicated to you testing your shooting skills, right? How good are your angles and your peaks? How good are your rifling skills or even your close quarter combat skills? And that's what Tilted offers in its current state. But we're back on board with the Power Trio. Where they have themselves a brood. They're looking to take it to this other group across the wayside. What's crazy here is, remember, they have these laser detonators. So they are the other group's fully aware. They're like, hey, there's another one. They're moving toward us. We need to try and take this down. But Power not enough. off. It's so easy to be focused down in the Brute right now. Down, and I don't think there's anything else the other duo can do about this, right? They just kind of have to let him go down and reuse this situation. NM7 does have the sniper, so if he can get a cheeky shot off, he can down someone immediately. But like, look, the other Brute spawn, like, no, friend, we're gonna hunt you down. Don't worry, don't get too far.
Absolutely. Like, Brute combat is one thing that also has its own metagame, and like these guys know too, right? Focus the driver 100%. Usually the people you put into the Brute early game are those who don't have the same amount of loot. We're looking at a pump TAC SMG gold sniper on NM7, but FHD, all he had were zapper traps, a bunch of gray items, very easily focusable. And right now, it's a big and hard focus. I'm pretty sure it's the ASMR guys, Spy and Wagner. These guys a big Brute of their own, forcing through straight up, gaining all the loot as well. One big thing about having a Brute, it's like butter on toast. Perfect combination, even gem on toast. Anything but mayo. You get these loot spawners so much faster with the stomp mechanic as well as the rockets. Granted that they were nerfed, but they still have instantly just get these launches over and over again. The biggest you start behind them there, right? You negate that.
Kind of take that Brute into later game and use that to kind of mess with other trios out there. I like this too. The ASMR trio, ASMR. They are in the Brute. Destroying base spawn. Sector and retail destroyed all base spawners.
A lot of launch pads. And a lot of AMs everywhere for you, including
that very much. But now we are across the way because look at this. This trio, we saw an absurd amount of snipes last game. Now, many of them they couldn't follow up on based on where they were, but look at this. He drops down and he gets counter dropped. That is a zapper. He's got to be careful. It's okay. All right. I thought that wasn't Moon. I saw a second shot from the right, and I was like, if that is this enemy trio, like, Minzu's gonna be eliminated. There's nothing they can do, but it's okay. Moon was there. It's just shining array of colors.
Yeah, Happy Hamlet, I broke it down in one of the job start breakdowns. Bendings galore, so many chests, right? You eliminate as much of the loot as possible to what you need. You keep looting over and over again. You know, loot drops, chest spawns, every bending that's available with you as well. You have to pick and choose when you use it in a fight as well really fast, and just one of them testing you. Looks like these guys are the kings of Happy all the way in the Middle East, which is huge. We have now two big things as well that a lot of people don't realize in the game is when you have kings of a drop spot clash against each other, you don't really see where people come from, right? In the end game when they're on high. We have the ASMR boys having all of retail. We have this rainbow loadout on every single person from Happy. We can now see the storyline build up all the way to the end game of these two star trios at the moment in this game.
These guys are looking very, very good, but look who else is here. We've got two trios down. There is one yonder, the trio making their way over a hill by that long ravine there. With Sazerin there, who's by himself. I'm not sure what he's still doing there. It looks like he's trying to loot there. You got Simar, JD, and Cake Pack, Cake Park, Dash, Cake Pack, Dash. Like that. I do enjoy some cake as well. But now they just get to kind of walk into Old Yonder. I mean, there's obviously going to be no loot. They could farm up for materials if they wanted. All right, I take that back. There was one piece of loot, which was just the ammo box. My apologies. Didn't see it. But now they're the new safe zone, so they're probably feeling pretty comfortable because they do even have a shockwave, which looked like they have a shockwave apiece, and they even have a jump pad, the launch pad to get them to safety. So it's all going their way here in the early game.
Yeah, there's an absolute skirmish all the way in the snow side. We've kind of seen things, I guess even in the Middle East as well. A lot of the people like the land split. They like to be up in the air, so to set a stage for you, it's always just, you know, a bunch of people playing desperate. How scared people are split off. You can see exactly how they rotate in. And you do see a little bit more survivability coming out of snow side towards the bones over here, towards the big monster skull. So at the same time, we don't see any.
Un petit top 1 là. 13 kills, pas mal. C'est bien concentré quand même. Hein. m'a 2 top 1 de la journée. C'est très très bien. C'est très bien. Ok, mix. Oh putain, enfin. Ah, il m'a chiffé. Alors, au niveau des défis, ouf, pas mal. Infliger des dégâts de chute à un adversaire, pas de problème. Ok, hein. Je vais changer de bannière quand même. On va tuer là. Aïe, ah, j'ai mal à la cheville. Attends, je regarde un peu. 324 niveau du compte. Petit like, abonnement, ça mérite. Après moi on me dit que je suis un Bambi.
Making their way in, so we're back on power and looks like it's just Young by himself. This is a brutal spot to be in. He probably definitely does not have their cards. They're not getting rebooted. There's no. I imagine he's probably like looking at those points. If you can find an awesome pick, that's like backseat. Right now it's survival mode.
Yeah, the worst sound anyone could have heard from him on the server for his situation is that shield break sound. The whole desynchronization of the shield. So right now he's worried. He knows shields around him know that he's worried. His entire plan at the moment is to use. You see, half his loadout's already gone, right? We talked about when to use your loadout. When is your win condition? Do you want elims? You said it, Zeke. It's full survivability at the moment, and Yonks have to go to the Bronx and even further now to even win the game, right? Like 0 elims, the easiest thing to do, right? Getting the 3 points through eliminations is 3 separate fights. A lot of mats used there, right? A lot of gun skill required, a lot of brains required in the fight against 3 other people. But if you separate it into entities on the map, right? You only have a maximum of 31 trios on the map, 31, 33. So in this game, I think it's 26 out of 31. We're kind of far from placement, but separating it into just looking at singular entities moving around the map and playing placement that way, right? You max against one entity rather than 3 separate ones in a fight. Insane frags in an actual fight.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I hadn't considered that. It's pretty dope, but I mean.
Je voulais ton kill, tu vas faire quoi maintenant? Tu vas faire quoi? Bon, je vous dis à plus, comment on vient de faire top 1. Je vous dis de vous abonner, de vous liker, pas de vous liker, mais ouais, si tu te kiffes toi-même aussi. Je sais quand tu fais des vidéos, tu te likes toi-même. Tu crois que je sais pas? T'inquiète, moi aussi je le fais pas. T'inquiète. T'es pas seul, t'inquiète. N'hésite pas à liker, à t'abonner, à activer la cloche si t'es pas obligé de mettre la cloche. Qu'est-ce que je voulais dire? Je sais pas. Abonnement, like. Ou non, on va continuer. Non, je rigole. Hein, oui. Ouais. Non, je rigole, les gars. On continue. Parce que mon pote vient de me dire, on fait de la trio. Bon, allez, abonnement. Cloche de notification non obligatoire. Liker. Ouais, je le dis plusieurs fois quand même. Putain, je suis un gratteur sa mère. Bon, allez, je vous dis ciao et bonne nuit. Bonne nuit et peut-être à demain. Pour après, c'est qui sur le live? Après, ça dépend de la personne qui est sur le live. Voilà. Du coup, go trio. Trio arène. Tac, j'invite mon petit frère. j'ai un frère. Et alors les potes, c'est la vie. Hein. Ceux qu'ils ont loupé, bah j'ai fait top 1. Attention. Si vous voulez, il y a Game Abo. Yo, on joue, mon pseudo c'est Delta. Ok. Ok, attends. Est-ce que tu joues, monsieur Delta? Est-ce que monsieur Delta, tu joues en ce moment? Surtout Yenny Daily, n'hésite pas à t'abonner, à liker, ça fait plaisir. On t'entend pas fort, ta voix, ok, on joue maintenant, ok, pas de problème. C'est normal que mon micro n'est pas fort, je vais le cas où il y a des échos. Oh, Ruben.
Allô?
Ouais. Moi j'ai fait un top 1. Presque.
Allez.
Est-ce que Yanis, t'es un bon joueur? Tu rejoins OK Trio, je joue tel. Ok. Sinon, est-ce que t'as du level? Est-ce que t'es un peu noob? T'es moyen? T'es fort? Je veux de mecs qui sont forts.
J'ai envie de le voir.
Tu vas le voir ou tu l'aimes?
Non, je veux le voir.
Ouais.
Parce que là, je suis en train de... Et après, je vais le voir. J'ai envie de le voir. Moi aussi. Moi, j'aimais pas trop parce qu'il y a la danse de tacos.
Non, c'est bon, ça dure maintenant. Ça dure une seconde et demie.
Ouais. Ouais, sérieux, ça dure longtemps.
Je te fais
Après, ça arrête.
Ça dure Demain, il y a la mise à jour. Peut-être pas, je sais pas. Demain, il y a la mise à jour de Batman. J'ai un peu
Moi, j'ai une AK bleue et un légendaire.
Ouais, il y a une team. On les entend.
Ouais, ça... Non, le bébé tacos. Il y a un coffre, il y a un coffre. Ah ouais, c'est vrai, t'as raison. Oh, sniper. J'ai fait des armes bleues, même une faute bleue. Ça va, on est à côté de la zone. Voilà. On manque tous en fond. Et après, bah... Il n'y a pas de situation là. Il n'y a pas de situation. Oui, c'est vrai, c'est des tacos à motif. Tu l'as tué, c'était là, le mec, c'était là.
T'as dit quoi?
Il y a un mec là. Il y a un mec. Je suis.
Ah ouais. Touché. Plus de vie.
Oh, j'ai tué. Ah, il a un peu. Ouais, avec des aspergeurs, tu vois. C'est bon, j'ai un peu. Oh, tu sais, il y a des mecs. Oh, il y a des mecs. Il manque plus que...
Ah, il y a le mec.
Non. Non, moi, comme ça. Oh là là. C'est le mec, là. Voilà, ça meurt. Ouais, elle est là, on va.
Ouais, j'étais un peu nul quand même.
Mais j'ai pas
66.
fait mon...
Attends, je vais essayer de mettre la faucheuse. Je vais mettre
Voilà.
thème. Attends, des combos que j'ai jamais testé. C'est ça.
Allô? Ouais. Allô?
Oui.
Allô? Ouais. Allô? Ouais. Et maintenant vous savez, j'ai la danse boum boum. C'est ça. Allô?
Oui.
Allô? Allô? Ouais. Tu m'entends? Ouais.
Le chat en mode truc là. Tac, voilà. Là ça m'arrange. Ça m'arrange. Après cette game, je coupe le live. Je vais faire un petit peu, je regarde un peu YouTube et après je regarde.
Ok. Allô? Oui.
Wesh.
Alchi? Quand tu veux. Allô? Allô?
Oui.
Oui. Quoi? Oui. Salchi. Maison bleue.
Bon, on prend la maison.
Moi j'ai la maison blanche.
Vas-y,
Je suis dans la maison.
moi je me mets là.
Bah au pire, voilà. Ok.
Voilà.
Je suis trop nul. Pas grave. J'ai commencé il y a 2 jours sur Fortnite. Ah ouais, ouais, il y a des mecs en moi, c'est pas grave. Oh, il y a un mec qui m'a vendu. Il y a un mec qui a fait ça. Il prend KO. Mort. Oh mort.
Ça fait chier. Des pistolets.
Pas d'arme. Pas d'arme. Il y a un mec sur moi. Mort. Un KO mort. Mort. Il y a un autre mec qui arrive. Et je détruis. Allez, je vais tout Allô? Allô? Trop fort. Il y a un mec sur moi. GG. Il y en a en bas. Oh, quelqu'un. Mort. Mort. Et c'est bien. J'ai un level. Ça sera. Protège le level. Vous êtes trop fort. Vous êtes trop fort. Tiens, attends, tiens, le level. Et mettez les minutes. Juste t'as des balles de pompe. Tiens, prends les minutes. Prends des balles de pompe, s'il te plaît. Ouais. Je l'ai pas. Ouais, il y a le corps. Valra, essaye. Je vais le réanimer. Vas-y, va essayer de le réanimer. Allez. Oh bah là, c'est...
Bon, allez, à plus. Demain. Je pense pas. Je vais regarder un film.
Allô?
Oui. Bon, les gars, fin du live. Abonnement, like. C'est-à-dire, abonne-toi et like si le live t'a plu, mais je pense que moi il m'a plu. Hein. Comme d'hab. Bon, allez, ciao. Bonne nuit. Et ciao.
Quitte.